One thing I wanted to cover, we talked a little bit about this, but I wanted to cover it is the passing of the generations. So, you purchased the business from your dad, and it sounds like you did it, a little bit differently than what some other people do. I was wondering if you could touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, so I know some people, I wanted free reign, and it was kind of important for me. And my dad's always been good. Like even before that, I was getting a little bit of ownership of the business, even though when it
Hmm.
came time to buy it, I basically bought the whole business anyway. So it was just a piece of paper that made me feel good about working there,
Yeah,
which is no spite on anybody. It's just the reality of what it was.
right.
But I wanted to be able to make the decisions I wanted to make. And luckily, we had made a few other decisions that had made it with me and my wife, where the bank would take the loans that were in his name and assign them to me.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's 100%, all of it. And then the rest, after taking over the loans, then obviously whatever the assessment on the business was, I purchased from my father. And it was more like, how do you keep making money? Obviously for a while, because I think he was 50 at the time or 52 at the time. And he was just kind of burnt out. A lot of people are, and not wanting to, getting grumpy and other things, which you can't do in our business, unfortunately.
Right.
Sometimes you want to be. And so him carrying the loan, he'll have invested interest. So if something goes wrong, you can take it back over.
Yeah.
But then he can get interest from that. So he's not paying all that big capital punishment
Yeah.
up front, paying that big tax bill.
I like that term.
So it's like whatever the amount was, he gets paid a percentage, like interest that he can put in his pocket
Right.
as well. So it makes that number, even though maybe it's a little smaller on the top line, if you look at what you would have paid the government, and then but instead you're paying him interest, and then you put like on it when we were doing it, and I told him I'm glad I did it, but I was like, you need to make sure there's wording in there that I can't pay you off before 15 years, or
Mm,
something, because you have to
yeah.
get those interest payments to make it make sense, right? When you're
Right.
using it for retirement. So there's a few little caveats in there like that, but so he's getting payments, and he gets to carry the loan and getting those percentages, but I have 100% control of the business, and and some people probably have problems letting go and kind of letting their
Yeah.
sons run with it. I'd like to say, maybe he saw something in the time I'd spent with him over the last 15 years before that working there, but he's probably just tired of dealing with people. I think if you look at him, he probably thinks it's worked out better, for the
I'll say,
best.
yeah. Right.
It's obviously worked out really well for us just because of what we've been able
Mm,
to do with it and multiplying. Everything's gross numbers. When I speak, but taking our baseline and moving it up, 4x, 5x in 7 years has been.
yeah. You said you've never had a down month, I think, or something like that, like month over
We had
month,
one down month
1 month.
since we've
Yeah.
opened,
That's
and
incredible.
actually two. Sorry, so there's one, and then obviously the first month that COVID hit, but we
Yeah.
were the second month, and our sales were up because it was May. And so
Yeah.
it's our slow month in the facility, but we sold so much freaking pizza that it more than offset all the rest of that stuff. And then
Right.
once we opened, it was just gangbusters. And so that even that year where we were closed I think we were closed for 7 weeks. I think it's what our actual timeline was for the bowling and the games. And then we were open. We could only do 50%, so we're using every other lane like everybody was. The arcade we couldn't even open the arcade till about September. We still did more gross revenue that year than we did the year before.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so that was pretty tremendous. And then the following year we did the remodel, obviously, and then that
Right.
times that by two,
Yeah.
and we're up another 30% last year, and we're keep moving the right direction. So
Yeah. You guys do some
great.
crazy numbers for
Yeah,
the size of your area.
yeah, and that's I mean we're blessed, and a lot of
Mhm.
it's just basically we have another business inside of our walls, or
Right.
it's a restaurant. Like when you're doing more than half your revenue in food and beverage, but even saying that, if it was on its own, it wouldn't be doing the same numbers it's doing now, right?
Yeah.
So
Right. It's the two
because
together.
bowling is a huge part of it's a draw. It makes people come in and sit down and eat and stuff, and there. But we're about 90, like as far as open play, we're 95, 90, over 90% conversion where they buy pizza, which
Wow.
is
Yeah. I'll buy that.
incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
crazy, but that's how it is. I mean,
Yeah. But that
they'll
feeds
eat
you a normal
when they
pizza
come to the
shop.
bowl, they eat dinner.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like a
that's just
normal
what it
pizza
is.
shop wouldn't have all those customers being fed through the
No,
bowling side. Really
so
work hand in hand.
yeah, so it's like anything else, right? So that's like when people put in different attractions. So I like to say we have bowling as an attraction, we have an arcade as an attraction, and we have pizza as an attraction.
Yeah.
right? Some people have bowling, laser tag, and these other things, and
Right.
we don't have the space to do a laser tag, or we don't have the space to do miniature golf or go-karts. I would love to, just don't have the space for it. We're kind of landlocked where we're at. So inside of our four walls, what's things that can make the biggest impact with the square
Mhm.
footage? That
Right.
was we have a big kitchen because we got this big old oven from Domino's. And so how do we make that tick and go
Mhm.
from there? And I'll be honest, there's times we don't, even with that double decker oven on Saturdays and stuff, we can't keep up.
Wow.
We can,
Yeah.
which is great, but it's, when they call for carry out or delivery, and it's going to be an hour and a half. And
Yeah.
we're starting having growing pains that way too, because you don't ever want to tell somebody it's going to be that long, because
Right.
somebody has a bad experience, even if they're just carrying out a pizza or calling it in, just like they come into bowl, if your
Right.
machines are operating right, if your pizza's
Yeah.
not operating in a timely manner, who knows if you're ever going to get them back. So
Right.
yeah, we have different, it's always a pain. It was a pain that not enough business. Now it's a pain. We're trying to
Yeah.
do everything we
Picking.
can, right?
Right.
But
Yeah. You got to
it's
look
been
for
good.
the next Domino's to go out of business to scoop up that oven.
Yeah. I don't think we'll ever see that again.
Yeah.
They're paying too. I think they're doing
They've
just
done
fine
very
now.
well. Yeah.
They're
They've really
they're
turned it
doing very
around.
well. They figured out that, sometimes you just don't want the cheapest thing on market. You need
Yeah.
quality to go with it.
Yeah.
That was their big thing when they did the rebranding, is they actually fix the quality of their food.
Right.
Still not
And then the
great, but
online ordering, they did well too.
compared to other stuff, I think they've done a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, did you like this video? Great. We make 10 of them a week. Subscribe to learn more and keep learning about what's working in the industry. Talk to you then.